All right, so welcome everyone, including people who've done this with me a gazillion times and people who are doing this for the very first time. Doesn't matter. It's going to be simple. It's easier than anything you would imagine, as you'll see. The main thing is don't do anything I don't tell you to do, okay? Because it's going to be so simple, there's not going to be much to do. So let's start tonight by just we're sitting up comfortably. Leave your eyes open for now, and please just look to your left. Okay, and just notice whatever it is that you notice. Notice whatever it is that you're aware of. So I'm aware of a cabinet. I'm aware of some cookbooks. Right, I'm seeing those objects. Actually, it would be more correct to say I'm seeing some colors and shapes, which my mind then tells me are cookbooks and a cabinet and some wine glasses in the cabinet. So actually, I'm aware of seeing, and I'm aware of thinking. Okay, now please look to your right and see what you're aware of over there. Okay, now I'm aware of a lamp and some different books and some flowers and so forth. So, or again, I'm aware of those shapes and colors, and my mind telling me that's a flower, that's a book, that's a lamp. And now let's look front and center, and notice, what do you notice now? What are you aware of now? Okay, now I'm seeing different stuff. I'm seeing some different shapes and colors, and my mind tells me, oh, that's the shapes and colors of my face. And some stuff behind me and a microphone in front of me. Now, there's no doing involved here. There's no work involved. This being aware of stuff happens automatically. It happens spontaneously. And it tends to change. Again, if we look over here, turn our head this way, we're aware of this stuff. Turn our head this way, we're aware of this different stuff. Turn our head this way, we're aware of different stuff. So different, but what remains the same? What remains the same? What's the common denominator of being aware of this or this or this? And the common denominator is that we are aware. Awareness itself is the thread, we could say, that runs through all our experiencing, through every moment of experiencing. Now, when I look this way, some of the cookbooks that I see, there's one that's pink, there's one that's yellow, there's one that's green. Look this way, I see a cabinet that's tan. So some of the objects I'm seeing are different colors. I'm seeing these different colors. I'm aware of these different colors. But what about awareness itself? This common denominator, this thing that's going on all the time, every waking moment of our life. Does it have a color? Okay. Clearly no. It's like a lens through which I see different colors, but it can't have a color. If it were purple, I couldn't see other colors besides purple. So this awareness is invisible. It has no color, also no shape, no texture. I'm aware of sounds, but the awareness itself has no sound. And I'm aware of these different inputs, we could say, that keep changing, yet the awareness itself doesn't change. The awareness is this common thread running through everything. So that when I was, blowing out the candles on my birthday cake and everyone singing happy birthday when I was 5, and maybe feeling the thrill of excitement anticipating the sugar rush and anticipating tearing presents open. I was aware of those sounds, the visual input of the candle flames in front of me, the feelings of excitement, aware of all that. Now, another time, maybe my 15th birthday, maybe I was going through adolescent angst. Maybe I was angry at everyone singing. Maybe no one was singing happy birthday to me. Maybe whatever I was aware of, again, it was the same awareness, the same awareness, the same, we could say, open space within which experiences display themselves. Now, let's do another one. Please pull your shoulders up toward your ears. Hunch them up in a way that's not quite comfortable, kind of uncomfortable. You don't have to torment yourself, but enough that you feel it feels uncomfortable. Now, that's a feeling. You're aware of that feeling. This feeling has appeared. It's displaying itself within this space of awareness. And now drop them into a more comfortable position. Now we're aware of that more comfortable situation, more relaxed. Now, people tend to think that, oh, meditation is all about being relaxed, being settled, being something that feels less like this and more like this. And there is something to that. That does tend to happen. That does tend to happen. But let's check out one more thing. What happens if we pull one shoulder up and leave the other one down? So one is in this kind of awkward hunched position, and the other is in the relaxed position. Notice that the awareness can be aware of both of those feelings, the uncomfortable feeling and the relaxed feeling. And that awareness is not affected by either. You can drop the shoulder. The awareness is not affected by either. It's like an open space, just as space is not affected by anything that happens in the space or moves through the space. It's just space. And although relaxation and settling down do tend to happen in meditation, what it's really about, as you'll see, is that which is even deeper, even more fundamental, we could say, to us than do I happen to be relaxed at this moment or riled up in some way at this moment? Because if that awareness is the one thing that hasn't changed in our whole life, my entire body has changed. My thoughts have changed. My feelings have changed. Where I live, who I live with, this has all changed so many times. Yet the one unchanging thing running through it all is the awareness that's aware of it all. This aware space, this invisible, silent, aware space within which all those experiences take place. And if that's the one thing that's been there every moment of my life, even as everything else has changed, there's something fundamental about that. Fundamentally, maybe in some way that is more me than these other changing things that I tend to identify with. Okay? So don't worry about that. Now we're going to do something simple, but it's connected with what we've been talking about. So very simply, let's close our eyes. Sit up comfortably. Let's close our eyes. Now, with the eyes closed, of course, we don't see the colors and shapes in the room. We may notice that we're aware of some subtle colors dancing behind the eyelids, which also arise and change in their own time without any doing from our side. Certainly, we're aware of hearing sounds, hear the sound of this voice, As it comes and goes, you may hear sounds coming from within your home, from the street outside. And notice that the awareness is not affected by the sounds that come and go. The awareness is not affected by the colors dancing behind the eyelids. It remains the same empty, open space within which stuff just happens. It's like the open space in a stage, we can say. The whole play takes place, and maybe, Macbeth is assassinating the king. Maybe Romeo and Juliet are spouting beautiful love poetry to each other. But either way, it's the same space within the arch of the stage. So we can notice that our awareness is sort of like that. It's like space. Within that space, sounds come and go. Colors may come and go. Sensations may come and go. You may feel tightness somewhere in the body, looseness, warmth, coolness. Whatever it is, it's appearing within the awareness where all experiences occur. And the feelings change, but the awareness does not change. The other kinds of feelings, emotions, may arise. An emotion of excitement or boredom, whatever, doesn't matter. Just another thing arising spontaneously within the awareness. So there's nothing for us to do but rest in that awareness. Not trying to manage the experiences that come and go within it. We don't have to evaluate anything or monitor anything. We're completely unemployed in the good way. Nothing for us to do but rest. Rest as this open space of awareness within which all the various experiences come and go on their own, not affecting the awareness space. They come and go frictionlessly. So just rest here. That's all. Right here. Always right here. Nowhere else to look. Nowhere to go to. No way to get there. We're always already right here in this free, open space of awareness. With whatever's coming and going in any given moment. Not much bothering about the specifics of what's coming and going. Doesn't matter. And of course, as the sounds and sensations, the feelings, everything comes and goes within this open space-like awareness. Also, thoughts come and go. And please notice that thoughts come and go just like anything else, like sensations or sounds. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether a thing that's coming and going is a color or a thought about this or a thought about that. There's only two things. There's the space, the awareness, and the stuff that comes and goes within that space. And we don't much bother about the stuff. Whatever's there is fine. We're just resting in this open space-like awareness. So, of course, that means we're not trying to concentrate or push away thoughts or anything else. We're not trying to silence the mind. It doesn't matter what the mind does. We're resting in awareness. And awareness is always silent, even when the mind is got a bunch of thoughts. Just resting in this silent, open awareness. And how do we do that? We're already here. It's like the chair that you're sitting in. What do you have to do to be sitting in the chair? You're already there. So just remain as this open space-like awareness, as you already are. Sometimes you might feel, oh, gee, I went off on a long thought story. I got to get rid of those thoughts. No, you don't. Just relax your grip on it. You don't have to get rid of anything. Even if you're struggling with something, resisting something, wrestling with something, find yourself trying to work out, how to write that paragraph or whatever, complete your business plan. Don't try to push it away. And don't try to resolve it. Just relax your grip on it. Doesn't matter then whether it sticks around or not. Relax your grip on it and relax back into yourself, into this empty, open, silent space of awareness, which actually you are. If necessary, again and again, relax your grip on whatever the thing is, relax back into yourself, into open space like awareness. Not trying to feel anything special, not trying to be mindful, not trying to meditate, whatever that means, not trying to do anything. It's not trying, it's not even doing, it's just being. We already are this open space of awareness. Just be that as you already are. Let go into that. Completely let go into this beingness, this silence right here. Open your pores to it, marinate in it like soaking in a hot tub. Give up to it. Nothing to remember, nothing to maintain. Just let it all collapse, whatever it is. Let everything collapse. Now, keep the eyes closed and take a few minutes to start gently bringing the body back to a more active state. Maybe wiggling your fingers or toes a little bit. And maybe shifting around a bit in the chair. And maybe twisting your trunk, rolling your neck, maybe stretching your limbs, just kind of like waking up from a nice long nap. And then when you feel ready, just slowly open the eyes. Okay, so how's everybody doing? People are good? People are good? Good. You can nod your head. You can give a thumbs up. You can give the Zoom thumbs up. Good. Good. I'd like to first take any questions about the meditation itself, especially from people who are joining us for the first time. Questions or comments, observations about whatever the heck just happened. So if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment, you go to the raise your hand, the little blue raise your hand that we looked at before. Okay, no hands, that's okay. Yes, John, I'm going to unmute you. Yes, John.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I'm just wondering, when you're not here, kind of guiding me through this and holding my hand and helping through all this, what's the best way to initiate this wonderfully relaxed, open, aware state?
Right. Good. Great question. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what, in a sense, I'm the training wheels here.
You are.
Right. And you know, you want to kick off those training wheels sooner than later.
Right.
But it's also good, you know, I like to come back to my teachers from time to time, hear them, be guided by them. So a couple of things. First is when I'm not around doing this in real time, you can always go to my website, which is deanslider.com. And if you're having trouble spelling my wacky Dutch last name, just go to deanwords.com. My name is Dean. I say a lot of words, write a lot of words, deanwords.com. And you'll find a lot of resources there, including a link, a page called Meditate Now. It's as clear as I could make it. Meditate Now. And there's a thing there you click on, and it takes you right to a 12-minute guided meditation. And then some other things for more kind of follow up on that.
Perfect. Yeah,
Good.
great. Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Now, but also, and Rory, I'll get to you in a minute, a little bit more to John's question. When we do this at home, you know, especially after you've done this maybe a few times with me guiding you, whether in real time or, you know, off the Meditate Now page. And also, you'll see a link there to my YouTube channel. And on the YouTube channel, I've got like a year and a half's worth of sessions like this, where it's a longer meditation and a discussion. And so, you know, you can watch any of those anytime.
Perfect.
Okay. Good. Good.
That's
now,
great.
having said that, you want to be able, okay, you're out there for, you know, for a nice day of surfing, and then you want to just sit down on the beach, and well, I guess you could have me talking to you, through your phone into your earbuds, but it's nice to be able to just sit on the beach and meditate. Okay, so how do we initiate it, as you say, on your own? Normally, we want to have some kind of what I call an on-ramp, because what we're doing is so simple. It's so close to nothing at all that we want to kind of taper. We've been doing all the other stuff that we've been doing our whole day of other activities. So we want to be able to start with some one simple activity to kind of be the on-ramp into essentially just, as I said, meditation is not really doing, it's being. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But so we start with some simple doing as an on-ramp. One way could be what we were doing here. Just look around. Hey, I'm aware of this. Hey, I'm aware of that. Hey, I'm aware of that. I guess I don't have to do anything to be aware. Actually, everyone, try to stop being aware right now.
Right.
Try to stop being aware. Right? It's ridiculous. You can't do it. So that's the proof that you never have to try to be aware. Awareness is the one fact of our life. Awareness is your one truest, it's your true, and sometimes it seems like your only friend. Right? Awareness is it's always there. Everything else comes and goes. Awareness is always there. So okay, look around. I'm aware of this car. I'm aware of the surf. I'm aware of the sky. I'm aware of the sound. Oh, the awareness of this space that the stuff's coming and going in. Good. Just close my eyes here, sit easily, and rest in that awareness. And if your position becomes uncomfortable, change your position. If your nose itches, it's fine to scratch your nose. If you fall asleep, great. God bless. You fall asleep. Sleep is another thing that comes and goes within that space of awareness. That's fine. You won't be carted away by the meditation police for being a bad meditator and falling asleep. Now, there are other on-ramps, and sometimes we like to mix it up. So sometimes we might start with a sound, a so-called mantra, a sound that just has a soothing yet enlivening vibratory quality, right? The best known one is Om. Actually, if you're interested, if you put your hand on top of your head and say, Om, you feel that vibration? You feel it's that a kind of a hum, a kind of vibration there?
Oh, yeah.
Put your hand over your heart, over the middle of your chest. Maybe you feel some vibration there. Okay. So there we can do that, generate a sound, or as some of you know, my favorite mantra is It's a natural mantra that you've been using all your life, when it's just, okay, letting everything go, everything's fine, just So that's giving the cue to the mind, the emotions, the body, the nervous system. Okay, it's letting go time. We don't have to be riled up about anything. So you could do that. You could just gaze at the surface of the ocean, or if you're in your room, gaze at something in the room, relax your gaze, and then, okay, that's enough. Close the eyes and just, once we've gotten off the on-ramp and now we're in the express lane, we're in the diamond lane, just, if you're going to remember just 3 words, what do we do now? What do we do? 3 words that sums up the whole method. Rest as awareness. Rest as awareness. Okay? Tattoo it on the insides of your eyelids. Rest as awareness. We could say rest in awareness. That works too. Okay. Awareness never goes away. Does awareness have a color? Does awareness have a sound? No. Awareness is open, free, empty, like space, unaffected by the stuff that comes and goes within it. Doesn't mean I don't feel emotions about the stuff that comes and goes, but the emotions are also things that come and go. The awareness itself, the space, is not affected even, it's just like the sky is not dented even by a tornado, because it's just open space, right? So, okay, notice the stuff coming and going. I'm this awareness. So I can rest in awareness. We can use those three words, rest in awareness. Now, if we happen to look into it a little deeper, and especially as we practice more, it becomes clearer that we're not just resting in awareness, we are resting as awareness. Who or what is this awareness that's experiencing all this stuff? Hey, it's me. Who the hell else could it be? Right? And all these other things that we thought we were, like I thought I was a body. Well, wait a minute. This body I thought I was keeps changing. The one I had when I was 15 isn't here anymore. But this awareness that was aware of the 15-year-old body and is now aware of the year-old body, right? Yafa keeps telling me, don't let anyone know how old I am. It's the same awareness. The awareness is not young or old. The awareness, the body keeps changing, the emotions keep changing, but this awareness that's aware of it, this I, let's use a simple word, a straightforward word, this I doesn't change. So it's really I that am aware. So we can say rest in awareness, or if this resonates for you a little, it's a little deeper, a little truer, rest as awareness. But we're not hanging on to the words in any case. We're not going rest and awareness. We're just, okay, there's awareness. That's it. And it's always right here. We never have to look for it. Sometimes we'll get confused. Wait, where's this awareness thing you're talking about? It's always right here. I'm aware of asking that question. Right? So it's right here. It's like a fish saying, wait, where's that ocean I keep hearing about? You're always right in the middle of it. And really, you always are it. Tag, you're it. Okay. So at home, do something, some little on-ramp. Find, if you've got some mantra, some prayer that you like to do, if you like, some people, I like to do this sometimes. You can see behind me, I've got, all these images, these, little statues and photos of various gurus and gods and so forth, which we'll talk about sometime. There's stories to all of them. It's what in Tibetan we call tchotchkes. So, I like sometimes to just gaze into the eyes of for example, here's one of my favorites, Sri Ramana Maharshi. Okay, check out those eyes, right? I look at those eyes for a few seconds. I go, oh, right, that, there. And it's within me. It's that same space. Thank you very much. Okay. So use anything that suits you as an on-ramp. Rest in awareness or rest as awareness. Do that for how long? For a while. You don't have to set alarms. I mean, if you've got to get to work or get to something, these days, not many people have to get to work, but in a more normal time, you need to get to work, get to school, set a quiet alarm, but otherwise don't worry about the time. So do it for, something like, it doesn't have to be real long, 10, 15, 20 minutes, something easy going. But the main thing about the time is forget about the time. When people say, how long should I meditate? How long should you surf? Right? One of the reasons, John, that you love surfing is you forget about the time. It becomes timeless, right? Or doing whatever you do. If you love to sing, if you love to walk in the woods, hike in the woods, we're enjoying it. And when we're enjoying something, we're in joy, we're out of time. So that's how long to meditate for. Okay. And then always take your time coming out, because as you may have noticed, the body, John, you mentioned, this, really lovely, relaxed state. Mm-hmm. It's physical. It's not just mental or emotional. It's physical. And because it sneaks up on us so organically and incrementally, sometimes we don't realize how deeply the body is resting. And sometimes people, they'll report to me, yeah, I'm sitting there thinking all these thoughts, and nothing's happening. This thing's a waste of time. And then the cat jumped in my lap and I went, oh, go away. Suddenly the phone rang. No, I don't want to answer that. Right? Because it sneaks up on us so naturally. So always take a good, couple of minutes to bring the body back out gently. So that's how you practice at home. And it's really good to practice every day.
Yeah.
Really good to practice every day, because then we start more and more getting into the rhythm of being, right? We settle into meditation. There's the silence of just being, the silence of just marinating in this awareness, being and awareness. And then we come out to doing. But more and more that feeling of the silence of the being sticks with us. More and more it comes to pervade everything we're doing. More and more we start noticing, hey, I'm walking around in that same space. I'm walking around in that same silent, everything's groovy awareness space that I'm marinating in when I'm just being. So here we're being in it, here we're doing in it. Being, doing, being, do, be, do, be, do, as the great guru Frank Sinatra sang. Do, be, do, be, do, be. That's all you need to know. Right? We've all got our eyes closed. We're all strangers in the night. But things turned out all right for strangers in the night. Okay? You good, John?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Good. Let's
Beautiful.
go to Rory. Unmute you. Yes, Rory.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So it was great. I felt really relaxed, this kind of effortless instruction, and just the body and the mind were kind of settling, I had to fight the temptation to sleep, because it's like almost like everything is powering down.
Mm-hmm.
And to just rest in the being,
right,
effortlessly, it was just, I know, and this is the same thing when I listen to, let's say, Mooji's silent sittings,
mm-hmm.
where like 10 minutes into it, I'm just like,
right.
So maybe I'm in it. My positioning is too comfortable.
Right.
Is that something that maybe I need to adjust?
Okay. First of all, good news. This is never going to be a problem again. From this moment on, falling asleep in meditation will never be a problem for you again, as long as you listen carefully to the next sentence I say. It's fine to fall asleep. It's fine to fall asleep. I can see in your eyes you don't really believe that. That's okay.
Mooji always says, like, this is fake sleep. You're avoiding. You're
okay, if that instruction works for you, that's great. But sounds like you've tried going with that instruction for a while and you're still struggling. So here's something you might want to try. Try going with a different suggestion here. So let me just run with this for a minute, and then of course, as we all do, we do whatever we're going to do. I'm going to quote another authority, the Dalai Lama, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, who said, and I quote, "Sleep is the best form of meditation." Okay, how's that for shocking? Sleep is the best form of meditation. So I'll see your Mooji and raise you a Dalai Lama. So here's the thing. This is called, what we're doing here is called natural meditation. I even wrote a book with that title, Natural Meditation. That means that the process happens naturally, and naturally the nervous system takes what it needs. Now, sometimes what we need is sleep. Okay? There can be a lot of reasons. It could be just we've been fatigued, we haven't gotten enough sleep at night. It can be there's been some emotional stress that needs to be healed, some kind of trauma that needs to be healed. And sometimes the As my old teacher Maharishi Mahesh Yogi used to say, it's like the cosmic anesthesiologist puts us under because some deep work has to be done. So anytime sleep comes, you welcome it. I love falling asleep in meditation. What I find, and a lot of people find this, is that the sleep that comes in meditation tends to be, it has a special quality to it. It's deeply healing because it's launched from, as you said, that deep level of just letting go and relaxation. And so it can be, this is why when you're sick or when you're recuperating from surgery or an injury, the doctor may prescribe this medicine or that thing or that therapy, but they always say get plenty of rest, because it's in the state of rest that the body, mind, nervous system, emotions heal themselves. Okay, so if it happens, let it happen. What happens a lot when people have this idea that, oh no, if I'm a bad meditator if I fall asleep, is you see this, and I sit in front of a lot of rooms full of people meditating, right? And then that's nothing. Then they're not sleeping, they're not meditating, they're just bouncing back and forth. So what's better is let yourself fall asleep. You're not going to sleep forever. You sleep for, usually it's a few minutes, then you wake up and now you got some clarity, now you got some alertness, and you go back to meditating. And actually, if you really, and I see you've been a practitioner for a while, people who are more long-term practitioners, what you start to notice, one of the very fun things you start to notice is that when sleep comes in meditation, it's not the end of experiencing. Sleep is not unawareness. Sleep is one more thing happening within the awareness. Now that's just to a lot of, if that doesn't make sense to y'all, don't worry about that. That's in the advanced course. Okay, but if this resonates for you, Rupert Spira, another wonderful teacher that I know some of you are familiar with, he puts it beautifully. Rupert says, sleep is not absence of awareness. It's awareness of absence. And again, for some people that'll be baffling, fine. For some people that'll make sense right now. And if not now, it'll make sense, next month or something. But the short version is sleep comes, let it come. You've tried the other thing for however many years. I would say try this for a month. See what happens. Now, having said that, on a practical level, as you said, maybe your position, there are reasons why it's good to sit up comfortably. That's the instruction. Sometimes I get sloppy. I tell people sit comfortably. A better instruction is sit up comfortably, not rigidly, but up rather than slouched. Also, the time of day you meditate. If you're, some people, if they meditate after a heavy meal, it's going to be sleepy all the time. Some people, if they, they're good meditating at night. Some people got, things are sharper in the morning, afternoon. So there's that. Some people can meditate lying flat on their back. So actually, for some people, and this may apply to some of you, they're much more comfortable lying flat on their back, and they don't fall asleep that way. Then God bless. Meditate lying on your back. Okay. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And let's hear from Tova. Let me unmute you. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So this is a question about fear. I know that you wrote the book about fear.
Hey, when it comes to fear, I wrote the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
So during the meditation and being in awareness, I'm aware of sounds and I'm aware of thoughts and
Right.
I'm aware of and they come and go and I let them come and go. But then all of a sudden I hear my husband coughing. And at this time, his coughing freaks me out.
Right.
So it's not just okay, let it go. At this point, I am really, it kind of grabs me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are in a special time. So how do we apply, or how do we use meditation to deal with stimuli that in normal times won't be so traumatic or so difficult?
Right. Well,
and frightening.
yeah. Yep. Okay, good. So yeah, that's a great question, especially for now. And in one sense, yes, absolutely. We're in a special time where stuff comes along that we're particularly reactive to, that we feel we have to do something about it, that we can't just be in the face of that thing going on the one hand. On the other hand, do you remember Gilda Radner back in the original Saturday Night Live cast, and she had her character Roseanne, and she used to say, "It's always something," right? It's always something. There's always something that's going to be there that, if you're lucky, as a practitioner, there's always going to be something to challenge your sense that, oh, I can't just be with that thing going on, right? The people who've come to our Tuesday night sessions physically here in the house know that across the street there's a little yipping dog that just at certain times of the year, usually in the summer, they leave that dog home, and somehow it's just like clockwork. The moment we all close our eyes and start to meditate, that dog starts yipping. And that dog really annoys the crap out of me. I get to have these, all these thoughts, all these fantasies about the things I'm going to say to the owners of the dog, and the things I'm going to do to the poor little blameless dog that's just being a dog. We've been living across the street from them for 10 years, and I have those thoughts, and I've never done it. And I'm sure I never will, right? But what does that do for me as a practitioner? It gives me the opportunity to confront the thing, get caught up in it, feeling gripped by it. And actually, you can never really be gripped by something. We think we're gripped by it. We are gripping it. And it's good news that we are gripping it, because it means we can relax our grip. So the instruction is, when you feel yourself struggling with something, when you feel yourself going, that goddamn dog, relax your grip on it. You're going to try to make the barking of the dog go away. You're going to try that, and you'll strain against that for as long as you need to, until you find out that it doesn't work. And then you give up, and you find out, oh, I can be with that thing going on. Now, there may be a moment when you decide, no, I think this thing's real. I think Joel's having a problem, and you run upstairs to check on him. Of course. From a practical point of view, of course. But just know that the mind is going, because, and here's the funny thing, we all want that delicious freedom of melting into beingness. We all want it, and at the same time, we all resist it, because is this deep fear that, it's like as if all my molecules are going to fall apart. If I really just allow myself to let go and melt into that, I'm gonna lose my shape. I'm gonna lose my hard-won identity as, I'm this guy. I'm Dean Sluyter. I'm 5'10" and 170 pounds. And actually, it's true. You do lose that identity. You find out that you're just silent, formless awareness. But we've been in such a habit of thinking I'm Tova or I'm Dean that there's this resistance. So we find other things to say, well, I've got to attend to that. Okay, is this making sense to you?
I got confused about the identity and all that. How the identity, holding on to identity,
Right.
figures
okay.
here.
Yeah. Okay. Don't worry about that for now. Don't worry about that for now. Just okay. Let me tell a little Zen story. One of my favorite stories from the Zen tradition. There's a monk sitting in the Zendo, right? The Zen practice hall, and I know a lot of you've seen the pictures of what the practice hall looks like. It's long, narrow. There's a little aisle going down the middle, and on the one side there's a row of monks. On the other side there's a row of monks, and they sit there, for hours in meditation. And occasionally there's a break, and you take turns, and each monk gets to go to the Roshi, the master, and have a little interview with him about how things are going. So the story is, one monk goes for his interview with the Roshi, with the Zen master, and the master says, "How's it going?" And the monk says, "It's terrible." He says, "In my little corner of the Zendo, a spider has made its web, and every time I meditate," and in Zen practice, usually you meditate with your eyes half open, right? So he said, "This spider's built its web here, and every time I sit to meditate, the spider just goes, and he hovers there right in front of my face. It's so annoying. I know if I could just kill the spider, then I could meditate. Then everything would be fine. So, Master, may I have permission to borrow your knife and kill the spider next time it appears?" And the Roshi says, "Okay, but first let's try something else. Take this piece of chalk, and the next time the spider appears in front of you, mark an X on the spider's belly." The guy says, "Okay, thank you." Goes back, meditates, sees the spider, marks an X on its belly. Next time for his next interview, he comes back and he says, "Okay, master, I did what you said. Can I borrow the knife now?" And the master says, "Well, yeah, but first do me a favor. Pull up your robe. Pull up your robe. Let's see your belly." And he pulls it up, and there's the big chalk X on his belly. Okay. Moral of the story, it's you. It's not all the other stuff. It's not all the other stuff. It's you, right? You are the common denominator. And when I say it's you, it's your, as you said, it's your fear. It's your fear. It's your anger. I mean, you are silent awareness, right? But it's the fear coming from your side. It's the anger coming from your side. My anger at the dog, your fear about your husband's health. It's that stuff being riled up. Okay. And so our tendency is, okay, I have to go deal with that outer thing. I have to kill the spider, right? I have to eliminate that outer thing. Then I'll be able to relax into myself. But then it'll be something else. It's always something, as Gilda Radner said. It's always something. So, and again, as you say, in this special time, certainly, if I hear, if I'm sitting and meditating and Yafa's in the other end of the room and I hear a crash, I'm going to get up and run in and make sure she's okay. There's this practical line. But at the same time, just know that we will tend to look for reasons outside ourselves. Actually, Tova, you were with me when we were in India, right? With our Buddhist teacher, Charles Genoux, in 2005, I think it was.
5.
Right. And we went to, you heard Charles give a beautiful answer to this question. We were at the Deer Park in Sarnath in northern India, the site of the Buddha's first discourse.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles said, Charles gave a little discourse, because this is where the Buddha first laid out the Four Noble Truths, explained how suffering works. And Charles said, it's really in his discourse, Charles said, it's really important to meditate because you get to encounter suffering. And inside I went, what? I thought it's really important to meditate because you get to encounter bliss. And of course, that too. But it's also important because when I'm going, the goddamn barking dog, that's called suffering. And naturally, I think the suffering is because of the dog. But it's not. Another person could be sitting in this room, hearing the dog, and be fine with it. So the suffering comes from me. The X is on my belly, right? And it's through meditation that we get to find that out. That we get to, we make this kind of sacred time, okay, for the next 15 minutes, whatever it is, I'm going to sit here, whatever. And of course, there's the emergency exception, as we've said. But in general, okay, during this 15 minutes, this is a special time, whatever happens, it's on me. And you get to experience fear, you get to experience anger, you get to experience trying to make things change, and you get to experience giving up, and then you slip into the bliss. And that, in a nutshell, is the Four Noble Truths. If you're not familiar with Four Noble Truths, don't worry about it right now. But you get to experience suffering, and then, the source of suffering. It's not the outer situation, it's me straining against it. And then the cessation of suffering when I stop trying. Okay, is that making sense? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then when we go back into our life, see, and once again, it's about spillover. It's not just the spillover of the bliss, the lovely, relaxed, marinating and being, but it's also this wisdom of how suffering works and how we can let go of suffering. It's like meditation is like the testing ground where we get to find that out, and then more and more we get to experience that in our outer life for the other 23 and a half hours of the day. Same thing. You're hearing the whatever the next horrible story in the news, and you feel the fear, you feel the anger, you feel the whatever, you feel the. I remember my parents, who were very political, shouting at the TV set, watching the news, "Goddamn Richard Nixon!" And I used to wonder, do they know Nixon can't hear them through the TV? And just knowing what works, what doesn't, what is just noticing how you're stressing yourself more, and where can you let that go. It doesn't mean you become apathetic. We still can pay attention to the important information, especially in this time. But then we know we were talking about this last week, there's a sweet spot, there's the golden middle way between being lackadaisical and ignorant on the one hand and obsessing on the other hand. There's being in this golden middle place of, okay, here's what I need to know, and seeing clearly what to do about it. Obsessing about it, getting myself riled up about it, doesn't help with my clear perspective. It interferes with my clarity. Okay? Okay, let's hear from Adam. Let me unmute you. Yes, Adam.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question is really a follow-on Tova's. It was good timing that you called on her first, but my observation is that people who are good at worrying and fearful can get really good at it, and they can practice it.
Yes.
And they look for things to worry about all over the place.
Yes.
Wherever he or she might be. And so I guess my question is, what strategies can you suggest for someone who, say, is out hiking and is scared of snakes, and because he or she thinks there might be snakes, can't enjoy anything? or
Right.
might be, you know, in today's world in the supermarket and very scared of germs everywhere and getting the virus
Right.
everywhere and being near anyone and not being able to enjoy, and also maybe not making rational decisions
Right.
because of fears, and kind of what are some in the moment strategies to
Right.
help with that.
Right. Good. Yeah, you know, I've done a lot of teaching in prison, in maximum security prison, and people ask me what prison is like. I say it's like everywhere else, but more so. You know, all the human stuff, all the stuff about fear and about worry and about, you know, anger, but magnified. And so prison is a great place to practice. Is a great place to practice, to do enlightenment practice. And so I would say the same thing about this time that we're in now. It's just like every other time, but more so. All the stuff is intensified. So it's a, you know, and of course I'm cognizant, we all know, this stuff could get really, really serious. You know, there could be, bodies piling up, in serious way very soon. So but it doesn't mean, therefore, okay, I can't practice how can I practice meditation with this crazy stuff going on? It means we better practice. We want, I say over and over, this is one of my mottos, you want to do the fire drill before the fire. All right. You want to take some time when things are relatively okay, when you can still sit in the living room. We can still have internet here. So many, over the last couple of weeks, everyone's adjusted to doing everything online, doing everything on Zoom. Maybe the internet goes down, right? I don't want to rile up more fear here, but just, know that this is a good time to practice. So how do we do that? Okay. To a certain degree, it's exactly what I said to Tova, that just meditating, and finding ourselves clutching onto something or resisting something, and then realizing that clutching the thing or resisting the thing doesn't work, relax your grip on it, relax back into yourself. And you're absolutely right that all that, just, going to anger as a sort of reflex, or going to fear as a reflex, those are habits. And you're absolutely right. We tend to default to those habits because we've had a lot of practice. It sucks. It's painful. It creates suffering, but it's what we know how to do. It's a line in the Old Testament: as a dog returneth to its own vomit, so the fool returns to his folly. Right? It's awful. It's like puke, but we keep coming back to it because we've had so much practice. So what we do is develop new. It's hard to get rid of an old habit, but it's easy to replace it with a new habit. So an exercise that you all can do is take an object. You could take a tennis ball or an apple or something. I'm taking my little bell striker here, and you grip it tight. And not right now, but you can do this on your own. Then walk around the room while you're gripping this thing tight. Okay? So this is your mind. This is your mind gripping the anger, gripping the fear, whatever. And just walk around the room. Look at objects. Look at, there's that painting and there's that. And it's all being experienced. But notice how the experience of it, the ability to, as you say very rightly, Adam, the ability to enjoy it is colored and restricted. It's like it's got this cast of stress laid on top of it. Okay? Then relax your grip on the object. That's all. Relax your grip on the object and walk around again. Look at the same things. Now I can enjoy them. All right? When you relax your grip on the object, maybe, and you're walking around, at a certain point, it might fall out of your hand, or it might remain in your hand. Doesn't matter. The difference between this being here, this not being here, isn't important. what is important is the difference between this and this. Relax your grip, then it doesn't matter what's there. Okay, and this is a really good visceral way to do it, to make that thing clear, because it's easier to experience in a concrete way, in a physical way like this. Then we notice how your mind does the same thing. Your mind goes, oh, what snake, snake, what about snake, what about snake, what about snake? Because the feeling is, oh, I have to stay tense, I have to keep worrying, or else the snakes will get me. Does it really work that way? Is worry an effective snake repellent? No. No. And in fact, what it does, it makes you less effective. Think about the great martial artists, the great ninjas, right? They have think about in his best films, the old spaghetti westerns, think about, the Clint Eastwood character, right? The guys that he goes up against they're always sweaty, and they're always, caught up in their stress, and that makes them less effective. He's just, because he's so completely cooled out, he sees where the target is, boom, 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 he takes care of business, right? Now, we have a certain amount of natural alarm stuff built in, so that we tend to be reactive to things like snakes, because some snakes are venomous and can hurt us. But most people, or many people, will have that thing over cranked. They've got it cranked up to 11. So by doing this kind of thing, we learn the difference. And just notice your mind gripping the thing, and then relax your grip on it. I used to say, let go of it. And you'll hear this, I think I talked about this in last week's session, for those of you who were there. I used to say, let go, and that's kind of a cliche in the spiritual world, the meditative world. Just let it go. But I've stopped saying that, because I'd say, just let it go, and people would say, I'm trying to let it go, but I can't. And what that means is they hear the word go, and they think let go means it's supposed to go away. But it doesn't, so they say, I'm trying to let it go, but I can't means it keeps being here. It doesn't matter if it's there. So forget about letting go. Relax your grip. Don't worry if it's there or not. Relax your grip, and relax back into yourself. Relax back into the beingness, into the awareness. Okay, is that helpful?
Definitely. Yeah, thank you.
Great, good.
Can I just add one
Yes.
thing? Because
Yes.
he's actually mostly talking about me, because I'm the one with all the fears, and it's not him. But we are currently
what's your name?
Francisca.
Francisca. Okay.
We're on Adam's profile. And we are currently in Australia. We're stuck here, so we're following you from really far away.
Wow.
And there are a lot of dangerous snakes here.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, and I don't want to make it too much longer, but this could be applied to a lot of other things, right? Sharks in the ocean or whatever. But
yes.
For example, do I set an intention before I go out for a hike and try to loosen my grip, or do I do it while I'm on it? Like, what do you think is, or if I meditate every day, should it be like part of that practice? Or, sometimes it's like you start out on the hike and it's constantly there. Right. And I actually did step almost on a very venomous snake, and things like that don't help. So, but I wonder, what's like the moment? Before I even started, do I set the intention and kind of try to loosen the grip?
Okay.
Consciously think about it and say, this is what my issue is, and now I'm trying to loosen the grip now before I even get into it.
Okay. At that point, before you start the hike, do you find yourself gripping onto the fear?
Yeah.
Okay, then loosen it. Yeah. Anytime you find yourself gripping, relax your grip. Whenever it is. There's no rule, relax it here, relax it here. Now, one thing that you said, I just want to point this out, and we're so much in the habit of talking this way, but words are important. You said, should I try to relax the grip? No, never try to relax the grip. Just relax the grip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, mm-hmm. It's much simpler. It's different, because then I gotta try to, that becomes that makes it more complicated, and it gives you another thing I gotta grip onto this intention to right. No, mm-hmm. It's simple. somebody asked, actually, who was it? Rory mentioned Mooji before. So someone asked, Mooji was actually using the words, another teacher some of you may be familiar with, and Mooji was using the words let go. And someone said, but Mooji, how do I let go? He said, how do you let go of a hot potato? You know how. You know how. You just do it. You don't try, you just do it. So, but I'm going to make it simpler. You don't try to relax your grip, just relax your grip. Your mind, you know, and it's good to try doing things. Actually, my late first wife used to say, when I was trying to do something, it wasn't work. She said, try the opposite. Go the opposite way first. Like people will say to you, relax your shoulders, man. You've got so much tension, relax your shoulders. And this is actually another thing I learned from our Buddhist teacher, Charles Genoux. He said, pull your shoulders up so you can feel what it feels like to tense them, then drop them. So notice, what does it feel like? Grip, 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 relax the grip. Then you can recognize it. See your mind doing that with the snakes, the sharks, the coughing, whatever it is. And then more and more you can see the difference between what's just my fear, what's the, you know, me drawing the X on the belly, and what's something out there that's real. That's useful.
Because I thought it was very good, the point you made, that it makes me realize, yes, it is me, because Adam is not afraid at all. So it's not an external thing.
Yes.
It is me.
And this is the Buddha's second noble truth, the origin of suffering, the source of suffering, that the source of suffering is not the external situation per se. It's our unskillful way of processing the situation. You see this in the news all the time. Two people's, you know, next door neighbors, their homes are both blown away by the tornado. And one of them is, oh, I'm devastated. The other is, okay, we'll pick up the pieces. What makes that difference? You know, one of them happens to have little more kind of just naturally, they maybe just wired to be more centered, less overwhelmed by the stuff. But we don't have to depend on being naturally wired that way. We can all get rewired. In a sense, that's what's happening with meditation. So again, that's back to, as you said, does just through our practicing the meditation and then coming back into the world, do we more and more come to function that way? And the answer is yes. In meditation, we get so deeply settled. It's neurological. The nervous system is learning this cooler way to function. It's like our motor is getting to run more, to idle more quietly in a cooler way. Technically, what's happening is see, every time we go, snake, oh, it's just a string, right? That's actually a classic example from the Advaita Vedanta teachings of India. They say, you know, the stuff that we're worrying about, it's like a guy that goes in the garden, goes, oh, snake, and then realizes, oh, it's just a rope, and the light was bad, made it look right. So the light is our awareness and our, you know, our spotty, you know, interpretation, the bad light. So, but the settling down in meditation, neurologically, see, every time we go snake, shark, whatever, horrible politician, I'm not going to name any names, that
would be for you.
what's happening then is we're arousing the sympathetic nervous system, which is the whole fight or flight thing. Okay. Now, what happens in meditation is that the sympathetic nervous system more and more goes off duty, and the parasympathetic nervous system takes over. The parasympathetic branch of the autonomous nervous system brings about the opposite of fight or flight, the relaxation response, the you know, totally different set of brain waves, totally different blood chemistry, and so forth. And it feels so good to just marinate in that more and more as we come out into activity, then without our even having to think about it or set our attitude or set our intentions, more and more just on the neurological level, the nervous system's going, this is yummy, how can I stay here? And more it learns how to function, deal with things while staying in that nice warm bath. Okay. But yes, there are strategies. So that all that's true, and also specific strategies for dealing with fear in the world. You know, as I said, I wrote a whole book about this. Last week we did I think you guys were here last week. We did the technique of breathing through your feet, right? Just imagine, feel as you breathe in, you're breathing in through the soles of your feet. As you breathe out through the soles of the feet. In through the soles of the feet, out through the soles of the feet. So just doing that, you know, 1 or 2 breaths. If nothing else, there's a part of you, I mean, as you might notice, gee, there's something very settling about that. But also, just the fact that you're doing that, there's a part of you that's busy breathing through your feet. So there's at least, you've got a little toe outside of the fear of the snake. You're not totally caught up in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. What else? Yafa?
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Yes. Yafa.
Just a quick thought about that, because I know we're run out of time, but I just wanted to also say that there's a balance, obviously, of releasing the grip and being skillful. You know, you keep your eyes open on the trail. I'm also terrified of snakes, so I totally get that. But also, I've been pretty anxious in the grocery store, and it's really hard to stay centered and relaxed, and I don't feel like I can release my grip, in fact, but I can try to be skillful of moving quickly, moving with purpose, and do what I need to do. So I can't be like, in the grocery store now. I can't. But I can be skillful and aware of what I need to do and try not to get gripped in anxiety the whole time.
Yeah. And absolutely, you know, and you know, maybe I need to be more clear about this. We don't want to go for the la-di-da, everything's fine, therefore I'm just gonna, you know, waltz across the freeway and not get caught up in anxiety about the onrushing Mack truck. Absolutely, the first priority is safety, taking care of ourselves, taking care of others. Absolutely. But then we can, within that, can we have at least a toe dipped into, can I, within being skillful, still being skillful, can I find a way to relax within it? Can I be relaxed and yet skillful? If any of you have practiced martial arts, I used to practice a beautiful martial art called Aikido. I was never very good at it, but I learned a lot from it. And the main thing was that the more I relaxed, the more effectively, if I was trying hard to throw the guy across the room, I couldn't do it. My shoulders would come up, I'd tense up. The more I would just, you know, I would be like this, trying, I couldn't throw the guy. And my teacher, Sensei Stickles, would come up behind me and he'd see this, he'd put his hands on my shoulders. He'd say, Dean, drop it into your center. Drop your energy from your shoulders, drop it down into your center. And I do that, and suddenly, woo, like magic, I could throw the guy across the room. So like that, there is first priority. If you can't be relaxed and vigilant at the same time, be vigilant, right? Safety first. But then to whatever degree we can, within that, one of my teachers once said, there's never a reason not to relax. There's never a reason not to relax. Okay. Now that can sound crazy because we're so much in the habit, as Adam said before, we're so much in the habit of associating being alert and vigilant and conscientious with being tense, being unrelaxed. But if you just have some, let me just keep a corner of one eye out. Where is that space where I can be relaxed and vigilant? And more and more, you'll find it reveals itself. Okay. it's time to wrap up. Francesca or Adam, you got your hand up still? Let me go back to you before we wrap this up. Yes.
No, we did. I think you just didn't remove the hand, right?
Oh,
Was I supposed to remove it? Okay.
yeah.
We
lower
don't have
your
any
hand.
more.
Okay,
No,
actually,
no.
I can do it from my side. I am all powerful. Okay, good. Okay. So, is there any more burning questions before we go? We're about out of time. So bring me your number one question. Yeah, Kathy.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on what Adam said about 20 minutes ago. You know, that I find, and Yafa just mentioned the grocery store. You know, I'm like, oh, I got my gloves and my mask, and I'm organized in my list, and I get crazy sometimes in there with worry. That word
Right.
worry, which Adam said.
Right.
And I was going to ask you. I mean, well, is that? I guess that's what you've been talking about, just to try to like when I realize how worried and almost frantic sometimes.
Yes.
And then I think, oh, I touched this, and should I take my glove off? Should I put my glove on? I'm like,
Right.
So what should I do? I mean,
Right.
just
Right.
let go.
Relax be vigilant, be safe, be practical, be within the framework of that. Feel your way, gently feel your way. How can I relax my grip on the anxiety? Keep asking yourself. Okay, a little thought experiment before we wrap up. Please think back on your whole life, like the movie of your whole life, going all the way back to the day you were born and through, being a little kid, going off to school, first romances or career, blah, 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 family, whatever. Now imagine you'd done the same thing. You'd gone through the same life, the same movie, with only one thing different, which is that you didn't worry. You didn't worry. Would that life be better or worse?
Better.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. What disaster did you ever avert by worrying? So we're back to probably my very favorite quote of all time.
Right.
Okay, that went from Shantideva, the great Buddhist sage. Shantideva said, "If there's a solution to the problem, what's the point of worrying? If there's no solution to the problem, what's the point of worrying?"
It's a good one.
Okay, yeah. Good. So we'll be doing this again on Thursday at 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern time. What time is it in Australia right now? What time is it in Australia?
Well, in Perth, which is where we are, it is noon.
Noon the next day. It's Wednesday.
April 1st.
They're speaking to us from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so cool.
And it's still, that's the sky. That's actually real sky up there.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Yeah, Yafa and I want to, someday when these things settle down, we want to visit Australia. We come and do some workshops.
So far, we haven't been able to travel much yet, but we were in Tasmania before, which is obviously also part of Australia, and that was beautiful.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we'll be doing this again on Thursday. Then next week, as long as people keep showing up, I'll keep doing this on every Tuesday and every Thursday. Also, if you're not on my mailing list, if someone brought you to this, then go to my website, go to the contact page. You can subscribe to the mailing list. That way you'll always receive an alert every Tuesday morning with the links to the Zoom meetings. And occasionally, here's some news. Hopefully one day I'll be doing workshops again. I'll have a new magazine article coming out, whatever, this or that. Okay, so let us finish with my favorite. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. Let's finish with my favorite aspiration. May all beings everywhere find this true happiness, the true happiness that doesn't depend on anything else, the true happiness which is the nature of their own awareness, their own being, like open, free, perfect, empty space. And thus may peace prevail everywhere. And the Sanskrit for that, feel free to sing along if you know it. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
See you around.
Bye-bye.
Take it
Okay.
easy.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Yeah.
being.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.